Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Just days after a warning from Billings Police Chief about what he called a concerning trend. Cars, crowds, and cruising takes over the Billings Heights tonight. Earlier this week, Police Chief Rich St. John held a news conference hoping to put the brakes on some of the behavior he says has been taking place over the past few weeks with reckless driving, drinking, and crowds gathering in parking lots. Well, the chief promising more police presence for future events after more than 100 citations and warnings were given out last weekend. We sent Q2's David J. out to the Heights tonight to check out the situation. He joins us now from the newsroom with more. David?
Russ, the chief said there is an ordinance dealing with cruising and loitering, and he preferred that officers work in other areas. Tonight, those on Main Street say it was not like 24th Street the last 2 weeks. The classics could be seen on Main Street between Lake Elmo Drive and Wicks Lane. Organizers say many received permission from owners to park in their lots. These Corona cruises started with the stay-at-home owners for people to get out, and tonight they say people stayed safe.
So far tonight it's going beautiful. We got some beautiful cars running up and down Main Street, just cruising. A lot of people, husbands, wives, out with the old car they've had in the garage forever. They're respecting other drivers, they're respecting the streets, they're respecting the laws. It's a rally to support all the frontline law enforcement, emergency people. We support America, flags fly, and that's what it's all about.
And Rick Boyce says the car owners park and patronize the business owners who give them permission there, and he expects to have the next Corona cruise in June. Russ?
Thanks a lot, David. Well, it seems there could be some sour grapes coming from other states when it comes to how much federal stimulus dollars that Montana received. A recent Associated Press analysis shows that some smaller population states like Montana and Wyoming and Alaska scored big when it comes to getting direct federal aid, but that these states are not epicenters of the coronavirus pandemic. Montana took in some $1.5 billion in aid designed to address viruses-related expenses. Now, the report says that for some states, that money equals roughly $2 million per positive case. By comparison, New York received only about $24,000 per positive case. Meanwhile, Montana's delegation is standing by their persistence to secure that funding. We reached out to both Senator Daines and Senator Tester regarding this report. Their offices responded saying the aid is crucial to keep small businesses open and workers employed and also help families make ends meet. Well, Governor Steve Bullock says thousands of Montanans are applying for new emergency grants aimed at helping those hit hardest by COVID-19, and some have already been approved for assistance. Earlier this week, Bullock announced new grant programs with up to $123 million available for individuals, businesses, and organizations. That money comes from the Federal CARES Act, and Bullock said during a news conference today that 2,000 applications were started within 15 minutes of the filing window opening. 5,500 small businesses in the state have applied for just one of the programs, a stabilization grant for those that have lost revenue. 150 have been approved for funding.
It's clear from the thousands of businesses applying for one program alone that Montana and Montana businesses need support getting through this difficult time. The agencies operating these grant programs have enlisted additional staff to review applications and get the funds out as quickly as possible.
One of the grant programs offers funding for local and tribal health agencies for COVID-19 response, including expanded contact tracing. Bullock said half of Montana's reported cases have been found through contact tracing. 41 agencies have already applied for that funding. COVID-19 continuing to wreak havoc on popular summer events here in the Magic City. This year's Summer Fair and Symphony in the Park were scheduled to be paired together from June 26th to the 28th at Pioneer Park. That will no longer be the case. Yellowstone Art Museum will now be moving Summer Fair from the park to the Cloud. That event will still feature both national and local artists, but it will be online from June 22nd to the 28th. Food trucks will still be on site at the Yellowstone Art Museum so visitors can experience some tasty treats from around the Magic City. Meanwhile, the Billings Symphony Orchestra and Choral were forced to cancel the Summer Symphony in the Park. Other popular events canceled this year include the Strawberry Festival and the Heart and Soul Run. Another event that would have been getting underway this weekend that draws thousands of people to Custer County each spring is the Bucking Horse Sale. Its cancellation means the loss of millions of dollars changing hands in Miles City, according to John LANEY, the executive director of the Miles City Area Chamber of Commerce.
Has a huge effect on so many people. You really wouldn't think about it. Obviously, the organizing body has the loss of revenue, but the hotels, the businesses, it's like a second Christmas for our economy. And then you also go along with, we have so many nonprofits that do fundraising that weekend because there are so many people in.
LANEY says interstate traffic coming into Miles City has dwindled during the shutdown, that it's added to the economic hurt caused by COVID-19 in a county that has not seen one single case of the disease. He says some people are understandably frustrated.
These people are, why are we worried? We don't have it. It's not here. We should be able to do whatever we want. Well, you fall back to something like the Bucking Horse Sale. You bring in 5,000 people to the fairgrounds on a Saturday. That's not a healthy, pardon the pun, situation. But yeah, they are, and it's hard not to be that way. It's been a long time.
LANEY says it's going to be a tough summer for tourism and all the people who depend on it, but he also says folks in Miles City are amazing for helping one another, and if there's going to be a quick recovery, he says that's where it will happen. Well, with more and more of us going outside, soaking in the sun, a word of warning that ticks are back. According to Dr. Ben Walls with Riverstone Health Clinic, time to start thinking about how to avoid those tick bites. First, he says use repellents that use up to 30% DEET, wear long pants, shirts, try to avoid long grass. He also encourages people to check themselves thoroughly after spending time outdoors, checking specific areas under the arms, behind the knees, the groin. If you do find a tick on you, Dr. Walls explains the best method to remove it.
Traditional painting it, or using petroleum jelly, or using heat to make the tick disengage are not the best ways to remove a tick. In fact, it can irritate the tick, which could result in it transmitting more of the infection when it's stressed out and regurgitates the infection into the bite. The best way to remove a tick is to use fine-tipped, pointy tweezers. Grab the tick as close to the skin surface as possible and pull away from the skin with steady, even pressure without twisting or jerking, because you don't want the mouth parts to break off and remain in the skin.
Dr. Walls also says that we don't have the type of tick that is known to cause Lyme disease here in Montana, but we can develop Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that can also be a fatal illness. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire now. And Bob, no snow in sight here right now, fortunately, but the plows were busy up on the Beartooth Pass today.
Oh, yeah, they're working really well. Let me show you what it looked like. Montana Department of Transportation, they were up on top of the world today, or at least it seemed like it. Take a look at this. They were up there and they were plowing the roads. Oh, yeah, look at all that. They are doing a great job of this. Look, and it looks like you can see they're up there pretty high. They're not all the way done yet. They want to get it done by Memorial Day. That's usually the historical day when we get that Beartooth Pass open, where you can get into Yellowstone Park from going over the Beartooth Pass. And so these guys plow it to the Wyoming side, and then the Park Service plows it from Yellowstone Park to the Montana side. And so this is what Montana is doing, and as you can see, they're doing a great job. Wouldn't you love to have one of those plow at your driveway when we had all that snow this last winter, huh? They're doing well. Anyway, our forecast shows for more snow coming down here. Yeah, we talk about some snow in the morning on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, as if there isn't enough to worry about in this new coronavirus world, tonight we bring your attention to COVID-19 scams. That's right, the scammers are pouncing on the pandemic to prey on people's fears to the tune of millions of dollars. MTN's Jay Cohn gets some help tonight from the Better Business Bureau to expose some of these notorious ripoffs.
Con artists are using all of their wits. They're using all of their time. They're putting in, the equivalent of a full-time job or more in many cases to scamming people. They are good at it, and the things that they do are convincing.
That's Hannah Stiff, Montana Director for the Better Business Bureau, warning all of us that the coronavirus pandemic has become a playground for online thieves. Not only are new scams popping up, but old scams are back with a COVID-19 twist, like the grandparent scam.
Your loved one is in the hospital. They need money right away so that they can get access to care, so that they can be a lucky person who gets a ventilator. So it preys on fear, which is a lot of scams are predicated on that fear, and a sense of urgency. Pay now so something terrible doesn't happen.
As you can imagine, the internet is also filled with fake COVID-19 tests, cures, and alleged vaccines.
There is no cure for the coronavirus yet. We have no vaccine. There is no pill, no magic potion, no incense, no essential oil that is going to prevent you from getting the coronavirus. So people need to be very wary as these things are popping up all over social media.
Another thing to be wary of, anyone reaching out to help you get your government stimulus check.
I could get you that money quicker. For example, if you just pay me a little upfront fee, I'll expedite your check to you. Or they'll say, I just need a little bit more information from you to get you that check. I need your bank account, of course, so that I can direct deposit it for you.
Here's some red flags to be aware of, telltale signs that you're being scammed. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Are you being pressured to act right now? Is it impossible to actually talk to a real person? Are you being asked to use weird forms of payment, such as gift cards or money transfers? And you can't verify any of their website information. One of the most common schemes is buying pets online. The website pictures are real, but that's about it.
The person who claimed to be a breeder would show up, they'd say they would show up at the airport and there would be an extra fee for a crate because it had to be just the right crate to fly the animal. Then there was insurance for the pet to fly them to you. And so you can't substantiate any of this because you're at home. You can't go pick up the pet because we've all been in quarantine. So a lot of people are losing big bucks. We know that in Montana, the median dollar loss for a puppy scam is $551.
The good news is the BBB offers multiple online resources to help you be scam aware. Their scam tracker allows people to share their experience and actually tracks the latest ripoffs in real time. As you might imagine, people that are victimized by scams are embarrassed. They feel they should have known better. It all points out the importance of alerting authorities and reporting scam attempts to the BBB so they can then spread the word and hopefully help others from falling victim as well. In Billings, I'm Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
All right, thanks, Jay. Price gouging is defined as outrageous pricing to take advantage of a crisis. Any price increase more than 15% is illegal and should be reported. You can also report price gouging to the Better Business Bureau. Now, since January, price gouging complaints to the BBB have increased by a whopping 279%. Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, COVID-19 doesn't get us off the hook. Your mother still deserves presents this Mother's Day, but it may alter gift ideas. We'll explain. Plus, a local bakery delivers the full French experience. We'll take you there in a bit. And in sports, kick back and relax from PBR to UFC. And finally, the golf course. Scott sets up a solid weekend.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.